Well, California is not the only state delaying your tax refunds. A budget crisis in Kansas now so bad that it, too, is threatening to delay tax refunds and also threatening not to pay state employees their paychecks. You see, that state's bank account is quickly running dry, and the Democratic governor, Kathleen Sebelius, wants to borrow money from other state accounts within Kansas to cover the shortages. But Republican lawmakers are blocking that plan, saying it's financially irresponsible. Instead, they want the governor to make budget cuts. In the midst of all this, the taxpayers get the short end. Joining us now on the phone is Dennis McKinney, the state treasurer for Texas. Good morning, sir.
For Kansas?
Kansas, sorry, I've got Texas on the brain. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
All right, so basically the Republicans say, Governor, we know that you want to borrow from other state accounts that do have money in them, but that's not responsible. Just make some budget cuts, get the state back on the road toward fiscal responsibility, and then everybody wins. Why is that not the solution?
Actually, there's two separate issues. Number one, every year about this time we have shortage of cash in the state general fund. Of course, it's worse this year because our revenues are down. But the state budget director laid out a cash flow projection in December for us and told us we were going to have problems at about this time. And it's not unusual for us to transfer monies among our funds because we have close to $4 billion of cash in the bank. It's not unusual for us to transfer money into our state general fund. That holds us over until our tax revenues come in late March and April.
Right. I know it's not unusual, but the reason the Republicans don't want to do it, I'm sorry, I have limited time, so I want to get to the point. But the reason the Republicans don't want to do it this year is because they don't believe you're going to have the money to cover that loan you're making to yourself. And they say it's irresponsible to just keep borrowing from one account to the other. Just cut the budget, make cuts in the budget, and then you can meet all your needs. You don't have to mess with the taxpayers, and you don't have to be in debt.
No, this does not stop us from cutting the budget. The budget bill is a separate issue which can be passed, and the budget can be cut even with this. But even if we pass the budget bill today with the cuts that are in it, we will still have trouble with cash flow. This is a management decision. This is about good business because Kansas has always been a very reliable payer of our bills. If we fail to pay our bills, then we put our credit rating at risk as well as not meeting our obligations to doctors and hospitals and others that participate in our Medicaid program. We can do this, still cut the budget, and be responsible. We've always prided ourselves on not being like California and Kansas because we have the money to do this. And with good management, we can get it done and still cut our budget.
Well, but apparently you don't have good management, sir, with all due respect, because you've got a situation now where your taxpayers, because you and your governor and the Republicans in the legislature can't work it out. And so you know who's going to wind up on the short end? It's your taxpayers. They're not going to get their refunds, and your state employees are not going to get their paychecks. That doesn't sound like good management to me.
Now, we laid this out in December, saying here's what we're going to have to do cash management-wise. We need to manage our cash like you do in a business. We also need to cut our budget. The two can both be done. But now holding this up merely imperils our credit rating and makes us look like we're not managing our cash effectively. We've done this before. We've done it in other years when we had tough times. There's a way to manage through this. We can still cut our budget, still reduce our expenditures, and get the job done.
Well, the Republicans say the money is not there. They say there is no way. They say it's against the law, by the way, to issue this extra money to borrow from these other accounts. It's against the law.
That's not accurate.
And you cannot do it when there is no guarantee you're going to be able to replace those funds. In other words, you borrow from Peter to pay Paul. You think you're going to be able to pay Peter back long term. The Republicans say, no, you're not. You've got to be more fiscally responsible. And the answer in the short term is the taxpayers wind up without their refunds.
That could be easily be taken care of by allowing the transfer of funds among our accounts.
But it's against the law, according to the Republicans.
No, it's not. It's not against the law. We've reviewed this with our attorneys. We've done it before. We've done it before in tough years. And it's a proven method that has served us well in prior years. There's a way we'll get through this. We'll manage our cash. We will also cut our budgets.
So let me just be clear about this, sir. So when the House Speaker in Kansas and the Senate President in Kansas say it is against the law for Kansas to borrow from these other accounts, you say they're lying.
I'm saying they're not accurate on this account because we've done it before. The attorneys have reviewed
But
this.
just because you've done it before under other circumstances doesn't mean you can do it now under these circumstances. That's their point. Do you say they're wrong on that as well?
I don't agree with them. We can manage our cash. we can meet our obligations, pay the doctors and hospitals that we owe, meet our cash flow,
You can't do it
and
without
make our
borrowing from
income
the other
tax
accounts.
refund.
That's your problem. You can't do it
We
without
should
borrowing.
make our tax
and the
refunds.
Republicans say that's against the law. Listen, I should point out we reached out to these Republican leaders to have them on to offer their side as well. They couldn't be here, so I tried to espouse their points for them. We appreciate you coming on, sir, and giving it to us from the Democrats' angle and from the Treasurer's angle. Thanks so much for being here.
And the attorneys and Department of Administration reviewed this. We reviewed
We
it all.
understand.
It would not have been
Gotta go.
presented if
Thanks
it's
so
not
much
legal.
for being here. Take care.